Have you ever really wondered how a digital collectible app goes from just being an idea to a huge living, breathing economy? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the Juice project and see exactly how these incredibly complex systems are built piece by piece, right from the ground up.
It's the big question, isn't it? Building something that feels like a digital empire can seem, well, pretty overwhelming. But the secret isn't some kind of magic. It's architecture. And every single great piece of architecture, no matter what, starts with a really detailed blueprint. And that plan, the very foundation of this whole digital city, is the database. Seriously, forget all the flashy graphics for just a minute. Before you can build a single thing, you have to decide on the laws of physics for your universe. What exists, who owns what, and how it all connects. And this is exactly what we mean by a blueprint. This schema, it's not just some list, it's the absolute source of truth. If the database says a card has a total supply of 100, then guess what? Only 100 will ever exist, period. It's the unchangeable, unbreakable record that gives the entire system its integrity. So let's take a look at the players table. This is way more than just a list of usernames. Think of it as a complete profile. You've got their wallet address, which is the key that proves they own their digital assets on the blockchain. You've got their XP, which tracks their progress. It's basically their unique digital DNA inside the game.
Okay, so next up we have the cards table. This is essentially the master catalog for every single collectible in the game. And I want you to pay close attention to these fields right here, rarity and total supply. This isn't just data entry, folks. This is where value is literally created. By defining scarcity right here in the database, you're programming a collectible's worth from day one.
And this is where you can see how it all just weaves together so beautifully. Nothing exists in a vacuum. A player owns a collection, and that collection contains specific cards. Every single action, from playing a game to selling something on the marketplace, is tracked and linked. This intricate web of data is what turns a simple list into a living, breathing economy.
All right, so we've got our blueprint. Now it's time to build the star of the show, the digital card itself. And this is where we move from pure data into the world of art and engineering.
I love this quote. Nice, let's go full tilt psychedelic. It really says it all, doesn't it? For your rarest items, your most prized possessions, good enough is just not good enough. You want them to feel like a trophy. You want them to literally stop the user in their tracks. And that means you have to go way beyond a static image and create something truly unforgettable.
And the secret weapon for that? The graphics processing unit, your GPU. By using this specialized code called shaders, we can program the GPU directly to create these incredible dynamic holofoil effects that shimmer and react to light. This isn't just some simple animation, it's a piece of interactive art that makes a digital item feel tangible, valuable.
But, and there's always a but in engineering, here comes the classic dilemma. That super high-end polish, it comes at a cost. And it's a cost your user's computer or phone has to pay.
Right. One shimmering, beautiful card is a work of art. But what happens when a user wants to look at their entire collection of 200 cards all at once? Well, suddenly you're asking the GPU to do 200 really complex calculations at the exact same time. And that is how you get a stuttering app, a fan that sounds like a jet engine, and a very frustrated user. So the solution, then, is to use the right tool for the right job. You save that expensive, beautiful WebGL shader for the hero view, where just one card is on display. But for browsing big collections in a grid, a simple, fast-loading static PNG is the undisputed king of performance. You absolutely need both versions.
And here's the really elegant part. Instead of using some expensive server to pre-generate thousands of images, the system uses a tiny little tool that runs directly in the user's web browser. It generates these high-performance fallback images on the fly, which saves a massive amount of time and money. So, how does this little in-browser painter actually work? It's pretty clever. It uses a hidden digital canvas. First, it programmatically draws the base layers, the background gradient, the paper texture. Then, it stamps on some simplified holo effects. And finally, it lays the card's name and its serial number right on top. The result? A brand new, super lightweight PNG created in milliseconds without ever needing to talk to a server. Okay, so we have our blueprint, we have our high-polish asset, and we have our high-performance fallback. Now the big question is, how do we manage all this for an entire collection of thousands and thousands of cards?
No server, pure client-side hustle. That's the mantra.
We need an asset factory, but it needs to be one that doesn't rely on a complex, expensive back end. The entire assembly line has to run right here, on the developer's own machine.
In that factory, it takes the form of a batch generator tool. It's a simple utility, probably tucked away on a private admin page, and it's designed for just one purpose: to feed it an entire data set of cards and have it churn out all the necessary assets completely automatically.
And the process itself is just brilliantly simple. You load the entire card dataset, then the tool loops through every single entry, running that same PNG generation function we saw earlier. It collects all those new images, compresses them into a single zip file, and then serves it up as a one-click download. It's pure, beautiful automation.
Okay, let's zoom all the way out. We've seen all the individual components. Now let's connect them all together to see how the blueprint truly becomes a living, breathing ecosystem.
So let's trace the flow one last time. It all begins with the blueprint, the database. This is the bedrock, the source of truth that defines every single rule of our digital world.
That blueprint gives life to the core asset. This is our digital collectible, and it's been meticulously engineered to be both a stunning showpiece and a high-performance part of a bigger collection. That single asset is then multiplied by the factory, our clever client-side tool that lets us scale production from just one card to thousands, all without needing a single server.
And when you put it all together, the blueprint, the asset, the factory, you get the final result: a living ecosystem. A world where players can collect and trade and interact, all built on a smart, scalable, and efficient technical foundation. This is how a hustle becomes an empire.
We've walked through the entire architecture, from the data schema all the way to the final asset pipeline. The principles are clear, and the tools are totally accessible. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?